And I say it cause it's all that I know. Best you all win, that's no matter the odds. I'm on the stroking, I'm never on pause. I put my life into one of these songs. Please don't mistake me for someone that doesn't. Then they say casino in my car. I need nobody. Yeah. I ain't working for no one but myself. Yeah. Me, no, you're 17.
Let's get it.
Perfect. It's recording now. Sure. So my name is Tobin Gisela. I'm the founder and director of Gisela Legal. Gisela Legal is a legal agency providing services for creators, entrepreneurs, SMMEs, and just individuals in general. This, however, is a YouTube series that I'm currently doing called Creators and Exploiters. In Creators and Exploiters, we talk about how creators have created great things and how they've also been exploited in the past. So we kind of try to learn from people that have been exploited. So in this episode, which is actually episode 4, I thought I'd switch things up a little bit and I'd actually do a young interview with the guy that you're seeing on your screen right now, rapper King Sweet Kid right now. So
yes, sir.
I think from what I've seen, I consider him to be the next big thing. But, you know, time will tell as how that will play out. But yeah, he'll correct me if I'm wrong. But as far as I know, he's currently 3 projects deep now with the Sugar Seasons. He's about to release his 4th project with Highly Devoted. Personally, my favorite song from King Sweet King is Sebenza because, you know, as an entrepreneur, that song puts me in gear. But yeah, before we get into the issues that we want to discuss, I just want him to briefly introduce himself and also tell us the significance of his name, King Sweet King.
King Sweet Kid, bro, is a guy from Eratanda, Heidelberg, you know, a place, small township, in Johannesburg, you know. Grew up a lover of music, ended up creating music, and you know, music has been like a huge part of my life because I'm talking for every black person. We are the loudest, you know. My dad wakes up in the morning, plays music and cleans. My mom wakes up in the morning, plays music and cleans, you know. So music is like a huge part of my life. It just so happens that I'm one of the few that actually, you know, took the opportunity to kind of write and create, you know, when it comes to music. And you know, speaking about the name, the name is a funny name. I don't know if you used to watch Zone 14. Did you watch Zone 14? Yeah. So basically, to cut it short, I'm sure you know Bazooka. Bazooka used to date Sweet Mama, right?
Yeah.
100%. So at that time, I also had like a very, you know, scrumptious girlfriend, you know, and I'm very short, like I'm super short. I'm as short as Bazooka, you know. So they give you a nickname that is very fitting. So because the person I was with was a Sweet Mama, so obviously they changed it to Sweet Boy, Sweet Kid, and that sounded, Sweet Boy just sounded very weird, you know. So I just added the kid, you know, and the reason I did that is because I was playing my PlayStation, was it wrestling, you know, where you can customize your person, right? So I just put in Sweet Kid, and when the intro was coming, Sweet Kid, and I just liked it, you know. And throughout the time, I added to add the King to make it much more significant, you know, just to add that Zazazum, you know, for it to sound like it's an artist, or it sounds like something that you actually sat down and thought about, which is a lie. But you know, after that, I went and put in the King, and then, you know, very, very simple story. Basically, Zone 14. And then I've been in love with music ever since, bro. Music has been a huge part of my life. I can't think of a time in my life where music wasn't actually, you know, this much of a huge influence.
Definitely.
100%.
I would have never guessed the whole name thing of Sweet Mama's Kid. But But you 100% right. If you said sweet boy, it does sound a little bit wrong.
It sounds funky.
Yeah, so there's something wrong with that. I'm not particularly sure exactly what, but yeah, let's talk a little bit about the LP. I see that you're dropping an LP, the Highly Devoted,
Mm,
and the one thing that stands out in the LP, just looking at the track list, is Big Star Johnson. So if you could
mm,
just talk about the LP and also how did you get the Big Star Johnson feature?
mm. It was very, very, it was leading, like we met so many times on different occasions,
Yeah,
that at some point, the last time he met me, he's like, you know what, dog, I'm always meeting you. Angeke ngikhone ukukubalekela, so I might as well, I might as well
yeah, yeah,
work with
yeah, yeah.
you and see where it goes, because one thing about me is like I'm everywhere, but I'm always in the house. That's
Mm,
the weirdest thing about me. You'll see me everywhere, but I'm always in the house working because I manage, so everything that you see or everything that you've seen that has to do with King Sweet Kid is something that I had to do by myself. The admin I do myself, the emails I sent myself,
yeah,
so even
yeah.
approaching Big Star was me just approaching him as a nigga, going, yo, bro,
Yeah,
um I'm this type of dude. I have these plans to take over South African hip hop, and nje, not even South African hip hop, just African hip hop nje, in the continent, because I see that hip hop in the continent is not really reaching the heights it's supposed to reach as compared to South Africa. Because South Africa, as much as house music is such a is a big genre, hip
mm,
hop has a huge influence. Hip hop has a space, a space to grow. At some point, we were the biggest genre, even if it was just for a little while, your Cash Time
definitely,
days,
definitely.
your
Yeah,
your Casper days. Hip hop was huge. Every kid was wearing a snapback cap, So
yeah.
I know for sure that there's space, So with him, I just approached him at a show one time. I was like, yo, bro, we need to work, right? Please give me your numbers. He gave me his numbers. And after like a good 3 weeks of poaching, of just texting him, always texting him, like, yo, bro, it's me. I have a studio session next week. He's unavailable. Okay, cool. Dog, next week, he's unavailable.
Mm,
And I think one thing that hit him the most was him just sitting down at his place and then seeing my music video play on TV. And he's like, oh shit, this dude is actually serious, because I'm guessing the reason he wasn't taking me that serious, he was taking me serious, but not that serious, was because usually when he gets approached by managers, he gets
yeah,
approached by third parties. And this
yeah,
time I'm approaching him contant, and I'm like, yo, dog, I want to work, blah 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 blah. So I guess it's easy for him to think, "Ah, it's just another upcoming artist, that might just, waste my time, And
yeah,
after quite a while, he agreed and we hooked up a session. What was nice was that we actually recorded the song together, instead of him
yeah,
sending
yeah,
me the verse
yeah,
or me
yeah,
sending him the verse and rah, 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 And we got together, we created a masterpiece, man. It's one of my favorite songs on the project, because merely because of how organic it is. It's
yeah,
very,
yeah,
very organic. You can hear that these guys were having fun, and it wasn't forced, because sometimes you can just hear when artists just came together to do a song for the sake of doing a song. But
mm,
with that, it
mm,
was it was it was different, because even the conversation that stemmed before we started recording the song was, yo, bro, we need to make a song that is that has substance, a song
mm,
that when we release, we know that, okay, cool, this has so much potential to do so many things, instead of a song just being a song, and we did a song just for the sake of doing a song.
yeah,
So
yeah,
that was one of my dopest experiences with working with other artists, because I don't really work with other artists that much.
yeah,
If you can check
yeah.
my catalog, I'm always alone.
I've noticed.
And biggest reason is because of legalities that just involve everything else. Like working with someone else just means that you are giving so much space for things to go wrong, and especially with artists, because artists, I'm sorry to say this, but because they have been exploited so many times, they think it's all right to exploit someone else.
Yeah,
You get what
yeah,
I'm saying?
yeah, yeah,
Because they think that's how the game goes. Oh
yeah.
man, that's the game, bro.
Exactly. Yeah,
And
yeah.
which is weird. So I don't really like to work with other artists. I love working with them, but because of the technicalities that go inside, and I
Mm,
know and I know from experience that, hey man, people abantu bayasokolisa dog. We would agree right now that, yo bro, it's a 50-50, or that it's my song, right? I'm the one that asked you to come, and you're using my resources, but
mm,
because you feel like, or you feel some type of way, or you feel like the song is going to make so much money and you are getting a less percentage, now you're going to say, hey man, I think I should also get a 50%, or I should also get this type of percentages. So with him, it was a conversation that I had with Big Star. It's a conversation that we had before, that bro, this song is my song. This
yeah,
song we are recording in my studios. These are the
yeah.
percentages, and this is the contract. So from here on, before we even start recording, Jay, let's agree on that.
Dope, dope,
That
dope, dope.
these are the percentages, and these are and this is how we're gonna work through it. How we're gonna work through the single. If we decide that we're gonna make it a single, then who's gonna eat more? You know, who's gonna provide um the dynamics of releasing the song, who's going to put in more work, who's going to use their resources to make sure that the song gets to the right places. So
Yeah,
those type of conversations are the conversations that we had way before we even recorded the song. And then
dope.
yeah, the song happened, and I'm very satisfied with the song. It's a vibe.
Dope, 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 dope. I like that. I like that kind of talk because we actually getting into now the business of the music business,
Yeah.
and the first thing I want to talk about is publishing. And you probably know where I'm going with this because there is some deal, that you recently signed, whatever. But like just briefly, publishing is leveraging music of composers and songwriters and getting them paid from it, right? So
Mm.
you, as an independent recording artist, why did you see the need to sign a publishing deal with, I believe it's Sheer Publishing?
Yes,
Sheer
yes, it's sheer
Publishing.
publishing. Biggest reason is because in my plans of making this music thing, I don't see myself signing to a record label, you know.
Okay,
So just to explain it on let me explain the dynamics of my deal, right?
cool.
I run a company named DOA Media Group. DOA Media Group is a media group, obviously, for a lot of things. I'm gonna expand into having a media agency, production company, record label, everything that has to do with media. Even if it
Yeah,
means venturing into, you know, like I said, an agency and having a bunch of talented people, a bunch of talented presenters that I can offer to the world.
yeah,
Um,
yeah.
and when Shia approached me, they initially wanted to sign King Sweet Kid, right? And I was like, no, guys, I would King signed to DOA Media, right? So in order for you to sign King Sweet Kid,
Mm,
you have to sign DOA Media, right? So when you
mm,
sign DOA Media, that means King Sweet Kid is also free to do whatever he needs to do. Let's just say King Sweet Kid gets a deal with Universal. Let's just say plans change.
yeah,
King Sweet
yeah.
Kid can easily terminate his contract with DOA Media and go somewhere else, while the
Mm,
publishing with DOA Media is still carrying on. And also
mm,
giving me the opportunity to, if I do decide to sign someone, immediately that person has a publishing deal without them having to go search for a publishing deal, and
mm,
so I
mm,
signed my
mm.
company instead of me individually, so
Yeah,
I can have a lot of freedom and so forth. And with signing with Share, I feel like the biggest reason why I signed with them is because I need to make money from my record. you know, from
Mm.
me writing and taking it to radio. I need to have someone that's 100% gonna make sure that I get my money. You know, I don't
Yeah.
need to worry about the admin of, let's just say YFM plays me today. Now I have to listen to YFM and I'm gonna say, you guys played me 5 times today and I need my money. You know,
Yeah.
it's better
Yeah.
when a
Yeah. Yeah.
publisher does that for you. A publisher will be there,
100%.
going up and down for you to get your money. And also what I liked about them is because their deal involves licensing. You know, for example, if
Mm.
Netflix wants to take my song, or they offer, oh, Netflix wants to take my song, they will go to the Share Music Publishing library. They will go
Mm.
there, look for my song, and it's going to be much more easier for them to even negotiate deals with me because they're going to be talking to my publisher instead of me. So my publisher would know my worth, or would know that I need to charge this much money, and I probably wouldn't. I'd take the first amount that they that they bring up. If they tell me
Yeah.
50, if Netflix tells me 50,000 right now, I'm not even gonna ask twice. I'm like, hey, bring it, you know. But I know my publisher would say, no, that's not the right price. Probably 150,000 for licensing, you know.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that's the biggest reason why I needed to sign a publishing deal, because I've been playing on radio, playing on TV, playing everywhere, but there's no remuneration for it, you know. So with the
Mm.
publisher, at least the publisher can help me, you know, put together all these royalties and all this money.
Yeah. No, no, that's very dope because especially when you think of the work of a publisher from registering a song and as you were saying, licensing the song also
Mm,
and a royalty collection, which is a tough thing to do, getting that money from Samro, Capasso, all these
mm,
agencies and all these types of things. And also, you know, publisher puts you on, you know, as far as they do have relationships with broadcasters, they do have
mm,
relationships with various media outlets. So when that music is played or used, or when they saw something, they'll say that, yo, you know, we actually have a song that could fit well here and all those sorts of things. So
mm,
to
mm.
me, it seems, as far as monetizing your business, it seems like a great thing to get into, you know, because
Yeah.
people always think of doing this thing independently, but if something like that, which is mainly administrative work, it'll take away from your hustle and your grind whilst you trying to pursue other things. So yeah, you know, I definitely
100%.
also think, and from hearing what you're saying, I think it is a great deal that you're getting into also.
Yeah.
So now also just talking a little bit more about publishing and copyright. So copyright is divided into two, as far as music, two elements. The first element being the composition and the literary works, which is the lyrics. And then the second element is what we hear a lot on TV is the masters, which is the sound
Mm,
recording and whatnot. So like you've probably seen from just media outlets or whatever things that happen to Casper. Have been not
mm.
Casper, sorry, Questa.
Cuesta.
Yeah,
Yeah.
also been seeing with Master KG. Also, there's been some issues with that too,
Mm,
as far as splits. You know, we've seen it a lot, and you know, just speaking on the Questa situation, like I saw that the biggest issue was that the splits as far as the composition rights, like who produced the track, who gets certain splits as far as the track and all those sorts
mm,
of things. I think as far as the artist, it's pretty straightforward, but when it does come to those sorts of things, so you as an artist, and I think you spoke about this a little bit before with Big Star Johnson. How do you going forward protect yourself? Because I get the fact that currently now you're working by yourself, but when you are working in those environments where you have two other features, you have
mm,
an R&B feature and another rapper, you have two other rappers and thing, and I think it's something that you'd be thinking of doing too. Like
mm, mm.
what type of mechanisms or things would you do to protect yourself in that type of situation?
I think just having a template ready for such things is crucial. You know, having it, when I say ready, it must always be on your phone, because you don't want to go now and say, "Ish, we need to print this contract and rah rah rah." You know, just have a template
Yeah.
for yourself that says, "Okay, cool. If I'm gonna work with you, dog, these are the percentages that we are gonna get. These are the things that we agree on. Gusese manj, or else let's not record. You know,
Yeah.
let's not work because because chances are when the song is done and you hear that the song has potential to be bigger than what you thought it would be, chances are you're gonna want to change your mind. You're gonna want to change blah 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 blah. So protecting yourself from the get go and having that template. Rather negotiate on that template rather than negotiate on something that we don't have. And speaking about the Questa situation, it's so weird. I was um I've been there, bro. I was watching all of this happen.
Yeah.
I was on tour with Questa for quite a while, and he had me under his shoulders for a while. So all of these things that you're speaking about, the reason why they ended up being in the position where they are is because they were focusing on the music and not the technicalities of it. So, for
Yeah.
example, hey man, pull up and let's record. You know, okay,
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah.
We
Yeah.
record. Yo, dog, this is a dope song. Blah 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 blah. You know what? My manager will talk to your manager about the splits, right?
Mm.
And then it just so happens that the managers, if your manager forgets, he forgets. There's nothing that you can do about it. Um, 6 months down the line, the song is making so much money, and we didn't agree on anything. The managers didn't talk. If you don't have a manager, you don't have a publisher. Your publishers didn't talk. Blah 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 blah, and then it gets stuck.
Yeah.
Because there
Yeah.
was no agreement, or there was no templates because like I feel like even in business, for example, like officing, even if you do training, there's a contract for your training. It says that it starts on this term and it's gonna end at this time.
Yeah.
And the company uses the same template for everyone. So I feel like even artists, dog, they shouldn't sleep on themselves. Make that template, dog. It doesn't have to have big bombastic words. It just has to state that, bro, me and this person agree on recording a song, and these are the percentages that we are gonna agree on, unless maybe it's subject to change with all the which resources who's going to be using to make the song a bit bigger. So
Yeah.
a template
Yeah.
is very important. I think that's one of the biggest things that I'm going to do to protect myself, and also being vocal. Don't be afraid. I don't care if you are AKA, I don't care if you are Casper. Having that conversation with you is very important. Of, bro, this is my song and I'm gonna have this amount of percentage on the song.
Yeah.
Sometimes people get scared because this person is bigger than you, he's a celebrity, or he has a bigger catalog than you. So now you are not vocal. You're saying, "Ish, if I tell Casper that I want more and then he says no, so what's the use? Because now I'm for the feature. If I'm paying you for the feature and then you're gonna want more percentages,
Yeah. Yeah.
it gets tricky. So having that template is very, very important. I suggested, or I advise that to all the artists. Always have a template at studio, because you never know
Yeah.
what might happen.
Yeah, 100%, 100%. So like from just listening to you and also listening to your music, I feel like your music has mass appeal, what I call mass appeal. And what I mean about that, and this is not shade because rappers always take this as shade, but you have a lot of radio records that I feel like can break into many territories and all those sorts of things. And I think you do that intentionally also, not just trying to get the rappy rap tracks, but also getting those tracks that can break into, as you're saying, break into Africa and break into other territories and whatnot. So when it comes to something like that, I know that you said that you wouldn't want to sign to a major distributor or whatnot, or major label. But if you now see that you are not able to break into those territories, even though those territories are now knocking, what would you want from a major label, and what is your hesitation, I would say, right now from signing to a major label?
Hesitation just comes from me not wanting to be broke and having to split so much money with so many people that sometimes are unnecessary. You know,
Yeah.
like for example, right now, if I was in a record label, label, I'd have to pay someone to do my press release, right? I'd have to pay someone to get context from me for my press release. I'd have split so many, like there's so many. I think people forget that when you sign to a record label, you don't sign to a record label, you sign to a company. There's people that go there that do a 9 to 5 for you, you know,
Yeah, yeah,
and
yeah, yeah.
there's so many layers to that. When you go to there's a director, there's an assistant director, there's a in some companies there's a shop schwartz, there's a supervisor, there's a even underneath the supervisor there's someone underneath, and even underneath the person that's underneath the supervisor you get the
Yeah.
person that's on the ground. So right now my biggest hesitation is having to split so much money with so many people. When I think about or maybe it's because Nakona so many of my peers have shared the experiences. Uh, a guy of mine would get 10,000 for a gig, but because he's splitting it with so many people, he ends up getting two or three. You know,
Mm,
and
mm.
it's a bit tricky because the record label will tell you the only reason we are charging 10 is so that everyone who works for you or who is involved in what in your career should get paid.
Yeah.
So it becomes tricky when it comes to that. And also you never know in a record label if you're going to be a priority.
Mm,
you
mm.
know um for example, the biggest the biggest record label right now in South Africa has to be Universal, right? And Universal will tell you that their biggest priority is Nasty C. If Nasty C is dropping this month, you can't drop with Nasty C because Nasty C is going to be using all of the PR resources that the company has. Nasty C is going to
Yeah.
be on Live Amp, Nasty C is going to be on Morning Live, Nasty C is going to be on Afternoon Express.
Yeah, yeah,
And
yeah.
since Nasty C is a priority, we're
Mm,
gonna have to wait for you a little bit. And
mm,
sometimes it's not
mm,
even about talent. It's just the mere fact that Nasty C is Nasty C. you know.
mm.
So I'm a bit skeptical about that. You just never know. And once the contract is signed, yeesh, it's tricky. It's like going inside and not knowing an exit door. And you have to wait until the contract ends. And time doesn't wait for no man. You can be in a
Yeah,
5-year contract,
yeah,
and then on that 5 years, the record label doesn't do anything, and they just keep on telling you, no, you're gonna drop next year, you're gonna drop next month, you're gonna drop, and then you end up owing the record label so much because they've been putting in so much money in you, and you haven't been making any money back, which keeps you there. So that's my biggest thing with it's just a lot. It's just a lot. There's a lot of reasons why I feel like I'm very hesitant to sign, but the biggest reason why I would sign is
mm,
convenience. Convenience,
mm,
definitely.
mm.
Knowing that today if I release the song, guaranteed, there's people that put in blood, sweat, and tears in order to make that song make money, because they know that they get paid from making sure that the song is on radio. They know that
Yeah,
my success depends on their their pays. Which brings me back to this is why I'd rather have my own record label. I'd rather hire someone who used to work for Sony, who knows what is happening inside the game, who's looking to expand individually, because when you work for such big companies, you don't get to expand individually. You don't get to become the person that you want to be, because you want a promotion, you
mm,
want blah blah blah, and promotions take 5 years, because the person that is in the position that you want to be in has worked so hard to be in that position. They also had to wait so many years in order for them to be in that position. So I'd rather get someone who wants to be promoted and promote him so that he can do
yeah,
whatever he wanted to do in that label, and do it here. Because the big difference between us and the record labels is the resource. you know it's not like they're doing the job any different. We write the same press releases, we write the same emails, we write to the same people. you know
mm.
and we probably make the same money. It's just that they make more money because they have to pay more people.
mm,
So
mm,
that's my
mm.
biggest thing. Is like ever since I discovered that I can be a record label, I kind of don't see the need for me to sign to a record label. I'd rather employ people. I'd rather say, hey man, um for example with you, I'd rather say, hey bro, since you are an entertainment legal advisor, can I use your resources, blah 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 blah, rather than
Yeah,
signing to Sony, and then Sony they have their own lawyer, which I have to pay with a huge amount, and I could have just paid you a normal amount, and get work done. So those
yeah.
are the two
Mm.
biggest things why I would sign and why I wouldn't.
Yeah, 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 definitely, definitely. I mean, also like there's I always tell people that when you're starting off with business, it's best to start by yourself because a lot of people like starting in these groups and whatnot. Because when you do start by yourself, you learn the game through and through. You learn how it is to contact people, you know how it is. So when you are outsourcing that, when you are employing people for that, you even know what demands the standards that you want as far as that too, and you can
100%.
supervise. Yeah, so it's
100%.
it's it's always best to start that way, and then going forward, you're even able to crack those deals. Like I see you're already speaking about the splits. Speaking about the splits before we even get to the studio, which a
Mm.
lot of artists don't do. A lot. I get a lot of complaints of a guy that said, "Yo, the beat was like this," and then I told them to put in an 808 or put in a what. So
Mhm.
now I want a split in the composition of this record or whatever. So
Ace,
there's
ace.
there's all those types of things and whatnot. But yeah, I just want to do some quick fire questions
All
just to
right.
see, yeah, the type of artists that you'd be liking in the game right now. Yeah, I don't know if you're into like rapper politics, but we'll see how you answer these questions. So yeah, so this is just the artists that you prefer out of the two. So the first one is a pretty obvious one, AKA and Casper. Who would you prefer out of those two?
For different reasons, I definitely prefer Casper.
Okay. Why is
Yeah, I
that?
think um because he's much more of a businessman. He's much more of a biggest reason is because he's a black boy, like a black boy that's doing
Yeah,
so
yeah,
many amazing things. And if there's ever a pinnacle that I'd want to surpass, it's definitely him.
yeah,
Like
yeah.
I I am going for what Casper is doing in the country to the continent.
Mm,
I want the whole continent instead of South Africa. And
yeah.
Casper has been doing it so well, bro. And he's one of the biggest reasons why I chose independency in the first place. Because um I've been around him and I see how he operates. I see his team. I see his manager. I see the people that work for him on the ground.
Yeah.
He's an amazing person, bro. That nigga knows what he wants, and he
Mm,
doesn't stop for anything to get it. He could
mm,
have gotten he couldn't gotten what he wants even with hip hop. He didn't have to do Amapiano. But because he's that much of a smart person, he ventured into other things. So definitely Casper. I love AK's music, but I think Casper is a definite better businessman, better critical thinker. He's super smart.
yeah, 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 yeah. No, definitely, definitely. If we were just doing this for the passion, we'd always remain as under what is it, underground rappers or whatever. But at the end of the day, it is about the bag.
Hundred percent.
Yeah, the bag must be secured. The second two artists is Nas and Jay-Z. Who would you prefer?
Again, Jigga. I'm all for the guys that made it in out of scary situations, cause
Yeah.
looking at Cass and AKA, I would say the beef, right? I would say AKA won the beef personally, right?
Oh wow.
But but I would say Cass won in the long run, right?
Okay.
Same with Jigga. Um, Nas probably had with Ether, you know, that was one of the biggest diss rap records that were done until this day.
Yeah.
But looking at how Jay-Z has turned his business into something that is phenomenal, I
Yeah.
definitely go with Jigga, all because, it takes a lot to make business decisions and to cut off friends that don't contribute, to cut off family that doesn't contribute, to cut off people that don't contribute, to have that thick skin to say,
Mm.
hey man, I know what I want and you are not part of it. I don't care if 2 years down the line you call me a selfish person, but I know what I did and there was a specific reason why I did what I did, So
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm very inspired by these two guys for the thick skin that they have. I know it's probably not easy firing people and telling them that,
Yeah. 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 Yeah.
I have different plans in my career other than having you around. So
Yeah.
Jay-Z it
No,
is.
I hear what you're saying, and as his music, I prefer Jay-Z's music because Nas music is very rappy, and it is sometimes very conscious, and it's
Mm,
this last album of his, I think, has really stood out for me because he was using Hit Boy as a producer, which totally changed his production and whatnot. But out of the two, I show more respect to Nas because I think for a career of like 30 odd years and you've remained authentic to your brand and you're still around, all these other people that were authentic have died broke and whatnot. So
100%,
so being
100%.
able to monetize it or whatever, and I see he's making money with cryptocurrencies and all those types of things. But I think, as you're right, you're saying that Jigga's role is very important. I mean, he's inspiring all of us. Now we know
Mm,
that as a black person, we can reach those heights,
mm,
that he has reached. And I've got mad respect for Kanye West, and I always think that he would have been successful without Jay-Z. But Kanye owes a lot of his success to Jay-Z,
yes,
opening up
100%.
doors and all those sort of things. So yeah, definitely. The next two, I don't know much about their music, but probably you would. Boiti and Nadia Nakai.
Definitely Nadia. Definitely Nadia.
Yeah,
Obviously musically I choose Boiti, but the reason I'm going for Nadia is because Nadia is a very smart woman. Like
yeah.
Nadia, and one thing I'm gonna tell you is South Africa doesn't see it. They
Mm,
they they won't be able to see it because we've never had a woman of her caliber ever, ever, especially in the rap scene. Like ever. The last big superstar that South Africa had that was a woman was your Lebu Matosas and your Brenda Fassi's. We've
yeah.
never had a superstar, like a superstar. Like Nadia is a superstar. We might not like her music, but that woman is a superstar. She works hard. She's not even as a female artist. She's making more money than most rappers. She's making more business
Mm,
moves than most rappers. I'm gonna
yeah,
make you an
yeah.
example. If you look at Nadia Nakai's career and you look at Reason's career, those are two totally different,
Yeah.
people. And we can't say Nadia is getting these bags because she's a female. That's a lie. Because the biggest reasons why she's not getting bags is because she's a female in a male
Mm,
dominant field. So
mm.
I'm always gonna give Nadia the biggest of credits. And one of the reason why she is such a smart woman is because she was watching Casper all this time. So
Definitely,
she
definitely.
knows how things should go. She knows how to poach a deal. She knows uh how value works. So I'm definitely gonna go with Nadia. And I give so much respect to her because, like I said, she's doing what most of these niggas wish they could do. They can't even scratch the surface of what she's doing, and she's doing it so effortlessly,
Yeah,
and
yeah, yeah.
with just passion, with just passion,
You don't
which is
think that
amazing.
Boyti is a better MC though? Like I don't know if they're writing
I
for
think
her
I
or
think I
whatever,
think
but
I think she is. I think she is. But it would be so unfair to judge a Boiti off of, because he just has one project out and a few singles. One thing I will take away from Boiti is because she's not. Or one thing let me just be specific. One thing I take from a lot of artists that are in the rap music industry:
yeah,
if you are not living the rap life, and if you are not for the rap culture, you know like, culture is a whole different thing.
yeah,
Culture
yeah,
is inspiring the generation to keep on doing what we are doing, or to expand, the knowledge of what we are doing, to expand rap as a business, rap as a culture, so that rap niggas or rap females are in the office with these big companies, and we are able to negotiate deals. That's pushing the culture. And you are living the rap life, meaning you wake up every day, you rap. If not rapping, you are living the rap life. I don't know how I can explain living the rap life, but
yeah, yeah, yeah,
being
yeah.
a
No, I hear what you're saying.
being a rapper is more than just rapping. And I feel like Boiti is doing rap because she discovered that it's one of the few things that she can do. She's not a rapper. Like, Nadia is a rap star. Like, Nadia wakes up, she has tattoos. Nadia, like like Nadia is a rap star. Like,
Yeah,
she
yeah,
even
yeah,
she even
yeah,
has she even has you can even hear from her lingo the way she speaks. She speaks rap language. She
yeah.
speaks rap culture. Everything that she references to is rap culture. She would reference your Meek and the Stallions. She references your Nicki Minaj's. She references your Rhapsodies. And your Boiti, she doesn't, because Boiti is not really fully invested in the culture. If you were to ask her which rap song was hot in 1996, or which era was hip hop on in 96, she wouldn't know. Because she was a presenter back then. She had something else that she was passionate about. So
Mm,
this is her recent found passion. Which is, there's nothing wrong with that. You can discover something you're good at, and then
yeah.
vent into it. It's like, for example, remember when DJ Cleo started playing soccer,
Yeah, 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 yeah.
right?
I never saw him, but I heard of something like that.
You get what I'm saying? It's like, can you imagine how that feels for someone who's been training their entire
Yeah,
life, trying to get into a team? I'm trialing every day. I wake up, I play soccer. I open my screen and I see soccer. Rah, rah, rah. But because DJ Cleo, he's recently discovered that he likes soccer and he is an influential person, chances of him starting on a very good ground level is much more easier, and it's in reach. So one of the biggest reasons why I'm going to respect Nadia's pen game and her brand is because I've never heard Nadia do a piano record. I've never heard Nadia do any kind of record. She's always been rapping. She's always
mm,
been
mm,
about the rap
mm.
culture, and that's one of the biggest reasons why I'll always have a huge respect for her.
Yeah. So I've got one more, and I don't know which direction you'd go on this one and whatnot. And actually, there's been a lot of talk of them doing a versus, but I don't think it'll happen. But who would you pick between Drake and Kanye West?
Drizzy. I definitely speak Drizzy. Merely because of consistency, man. In
Mm,
music, like, I feel like when you purely known for the music, like, Drake is not known for gimmicks. The only time Drake was actually known for gimmicks was when the Pusha T situation stemmed. That was the only time Drake was known outside
actually
of
never
music.
heard that perspective. That's a dope perspective.
Do you get what I'm saying? It's like,
Yeah, yeah,
Drake
yeah,
has always been about music. You'll never hear him have other things happening on the side. Even all his businesses that he has are not linked to the music. You know, Drake is once again for the culture, someone who has put hip hop into places that we wouldn't even think, hip hop would be there. Drake doesn't have a reality show. Drake doesn't have the hottest baby mama. Drake doesn't have stories of him getting broke, blah blah. Drake has never even had uh, uh, um, altercations with the people that he loves. He's never fought with Lil Wayne. He's never fought with
Yeah.
his record label. You get what I'm saying? He's
But
always
look
been
look at it from this perspective though. You look
okay.
at a Kanye West, right? Who he came at like the end of gangster rap, and a lot of people could argue is that since he was so big, because he came around when 50 Cent was big too, but since he was so big, he kind of like changed the direction from the gangster rap to a more thing, and he did brave things like 808s and Heartbreak, where he sang an entire record and whatnot. So when Drake came, as much as Take Care was also I don't know what the word is, a revolutionary or groundbreaking album, but we can say
Take
that it
care.
was
What?
done. It was done, before by 808s and Heartbreaks. So it kind of like opening the door for him. So do you not
Hundred
give
percent.
that respect to Kanye West to say that Drake is allowed to be, the I just can't find the right word, but
Okay, I get you.
the
I
emotional
get you.
rap. Yeah, 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 yeah.
Okay, so let's put it this way. From my perspective, right? I would say
Mm,
Kanye, it was the biggest reason why Drake was Drake, right? Even Drake says it, right? But because now I'm speaking about what Drake says, right? He said, "Don't we shouldn't get confused and think that Kanye is the influence for the entire sound of changing, because before him there was Outkast, before him there was Nate Dogg. You get what I'm saying? Before him there was all these things that made so many elements into making Kanye West decide that it's okay to sing on a rap record, right? And even after that, um, the the entire rap game right now sounds like one person. The entire
yeah,
rap game sounds like one person. And this is globally. You know, there is not a single song. There's not a single rap song that you're gonna listen that you are not gonna hear an element of Drake inside. Whether it's a rap record, whether and now when I'm talking about Drake, I'm talking about 40 inside.
yeah,
The whole
yeah, yeah.
sound. The whole sound, mixing and mastering, the engineering, how we engineer now songs is because of 40 and Drake. How we articulate, how we even place albums. Now albums are a whole different thing. Ever since Drake came through, and Drake made sure that after track number one must sync with track number two. It should just go in together, from the rapping and singing to, and he always reinvents himself. Drake is never
Mm,
Drake. Drake is always reinventing himself and coming through with with new resources that help rappers become better. Like if Drake was to not release for a good 5 years, the rap game would be in a disarray, because most of the guys are inspired by him. They
yeah,
wait for him to
yeah,
drop a song or to drop a record and go,
yeah,
and
yeah.
looking at Kanye's catalog, one thing I will say is that Kanye is the closest thing to Jay-Z's legendary status, right? But because he took so many off ramps, you know, he is now considered a musical person instead of a rap culture person, because now he doesn't rap, now he does gospel, right?
Mm,
He does gospel with rap type shit. He mixes it. Because even his new album now, I heard his. I'm excited about his new album. Um, I heard the snippet of the single, and it's miracles. He's done miracles on me. So his whole uh, thing has changed from rap to Christian rap and blah 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 blah, which is, once again, I'm gonna say, as soon, for me personally, as soon as you start leaving the culture, as soon as you, because now you have benefited from the culture, it's okay for you to leave. As soon as you leave, I don't consider you part of the culture, because you are not doing what we are doing. The reason why, for example, yesterday or day before, Ice-T was turning, I think, 50 or something, right? And I saw this tweet. This guy was like, bro, rap really made it. 50 years ago when rap started, or when Ice-T was rapping, we wouldn't say Ice-T was going to be a family man at 50 or alive at 50. It was okay for other genres to do that. It was okay for an R&B artist to be 50 and alive. It was okay for a pop artist to be 50 and alive. But for a rap artist to be alive at that age and still be kicking and still be considered a rap legend without even doing anything else, Ice-T right now, you can't argue and say he's not a rap legend, because he's been living the rap life and he never off-ramped to anything else. So rap as a culture is very important to keep, to keep the rap alive. I always make an example of Kwaito. If you don't keep your culture alive, it will die and it will be all over the place, and you will look for pieces of it in so many things. Now we look for Kwaito in so many genres. We look for Kwaito in piano, we look for Kwaito in hip hop, we look for Kwaito in house. But Kwaito at some point was one of the biggest genres, and they didn't perceive the culture. They didn't keep the culture on, and they didn't grow it. Instead, they were like, "Hey man, you're an artist. You need to do other things. It's okay for an artist to do house, but stay within the culture." That's if you love it. That's if the culture made you grow. Because I grew up on hip hop, I wouldn't dare turn my back on hip hop. I know what hip hop has done for me. I know what is emotionally, physically, it has taught me so much. So I'm always gonna go with the guy that is always a rap star. Till this day, Drake is a rap star. If tomorrow we wake up and Drake drops an album, my favorite rapper is listening. Nas is listening. Jay-Z is listening. That's how I know. It's like, this guy is bigger than what we think he is. He's bigger than what we think. So definitely I'm gonna go for Drake. Kanye, I respect him as a businessman, as a I don't think it's the right word, but as a gimmick, because he's done so many things for me that look like, ish man, here you were just trying to get a bag, or here you were just, but also it's understandable, it's his personality. I guess, he's not a person that keeps everything inside. His emotions are always out there, hence the meetings with Trump, all of this drama. And also, just to add, because I'm a Drake fan, I honestly don't like how he handled his situation with Drake type shit. That was very deep for me. I was like, oh, okay, so you are this type of person. If you are this type of person, then it makes me go, oh, this is why Jay-Z left you, or this is why blah 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 left you, which doesn't take anything away from the music, but it makes me question the personality, because you can't bash me for someone else helping me write a song when your entire career is based on people writing for you. And that's also a huge thing. It's like, people don't know that Kanye sometimes doesn't own these songs. Half of the Made in Pablo was written by Chance the Rapper. So it's like, so who do we give credit to? Do we give credit for Kanye West because Kanye West was able to identify the good songs from Chance, or do we give Chance the credit for making Kanye West as relevant or keeping him relevant. So it becomes tricky.
Yeah, no, I hear what you're saying. I hear what you're saying. Whatnot. I disagree, but
Mm-hmm.
I hear your point. I hear your point
100%.
100%. Yeah. But yeah, no, I think these sort of conversations, just speaking on the music business is very important, and something that we don't do enough. And I've been surprised, just your knowledge of the industry also, even from just these questions, how you identify with various rappers for various reasons also speaks a lot. And I think always when you working as an independent and you doing everything, there's little chance for you to lose. You might have those challenges and those whatnots, but as long as if you stay at it, I don't see you losing at this and whatnot. And it's been a real pleasure doing this interview. Thank you for your time. I feel like 2 years from now, I'm going to pin this interview on my social media, on my website. I'm like, yeah, that guy. I did, I did an interview with him way back or anything. But yeah, man, I
No, man,
appreciate your time, bro.
we definitely gonna work in the future, man. I nothing happens by mistake, I'm 100% sure God introduced me to you for a reason. I'm not gonna sleep on that. And just to add on, I'm a big fan of hip hop, bro.
Yeah,
I wake
yeah,
up in the morning every morning and I just go to Apple Music and I stream and anything that I come across. You know,
yeah,
um, I'm so much of a hip hop fan that sometimes I don't know the names of the people that I listen to. But I know who's this. I like the song. I
yeah,
love the song so much.
yeah.
I support niggas 24/7. I'm always on Twitter tweeting niggas like, yo, bro, this is dope. I'm commenting on people's Instagram. So I'm a student of the game, bro. So all the answers that you have gotten from me today in terms of like all these artists was a result of me digging deeper than what social media gives me. Like
Definitely,
I listen
definitely.
to these people's podcasts, I follow these people, and I'm like, oh, okay, cool. So this is what's happening. This is what stems inside. Even this whole uh, writing issue. I remember at some point, ghost writing was a huge thing. Like, oh, you can't be a rapper, and people are writing for you. So
Yeah,
these
yeah, yeah.
these are the conversations that I always try and engage in and try see that yes, I might feel offended because I write for myself, but is it really something to be offended about that someone else doesn't write for themselves? I always wonder, like, how would soccer players feel if for example, you had to take off your legs and then they give you prosthetic legs to play, and the
Mm,
other ones play with real legs, and you're like, but when I buy korela mos, like, what's the use?
mm.
Bayakudlalela. Like mina ngiyadlala, I train in the morning, I wake up and I fix my pen game and I do this. Mara wena bakudlalela, dog. How are you allowed to be in the same
Definitely.
category as me? You get what I'm saying? So these are the conversations that I always try and engage in, and I try to find a different perspective because I know it always takes a sentence to change someone's perspective.
Yeah,
It always takes just that epiphany for you to change my mind on how I view things, on how I see
yeah.
things. So big fact is that I'm a big fan of the game, bro. I love music with
No, I
all my
can
heart. I
tell.
love rap with all my life.
I can
So
tell, man.
yeah. So that's more about me, man. I'm a rap fanatic.
Anyway, thank you so much for your time, man. I'll cut the interview here now.
All right,
Cheers.
man.
Cheers.